just so you guys know, we are going to be using we're going to be using ChatGPT, and we're going to be using three other websites and then a template that is basically something that I created, that will kind of tell us that past, present, and future of your soul map. So it's going to be super fun. And I think that I don't put like so much stock into the idea of these telling us like how to live our lives or anything like that. But it is definitely a kind of that map, right? A little bit of a guide that is going to teach you more about yourself and how to make the most out of your life, and maybe like what to avoid, but kind of what to, what to jump into as well. Kind of, it's almost like strengths and weaknesses. And I think that there is a lot to. Hi, Stephanie. I think that there is a lot to the idea of being able to really dive into the different like astrology. We're going to talk about human design and your life path. And we will just figure out some of those things about you and create a cool little book that you could print. I'm actually creating a expanded version of this for everyone in my family for their birthdays. So these could be really, really great gifts as well to give to people, because it really teaches them about themselves. And the fun thing is we're doing it with AI. And one thing I really want you guys to know is that the information that we're putting into AI, sometimes I even ask it like, is this accurate? Can you go check the web and make sure that this is accurate? So whenever it does that, it will tell you, it'll be honest. It'll say, this is not accurate. Let me go back and change it. Or it'll say, yes, this is accurate. But what we're going to do today is we're going to go to different websites, and we're going to give it the information that we want it to, so that way we know for sure this is accurate, especially if you're giving this to somebody as a gift, or like I wanted you guys to have the most up-to-date, accurate information to be able to do this yourself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link into the chat for the template. So what this has on it is the Canva design. So if you have Canva, I think most of you probably do. If you don't, there is a free version. So if you click on this link and create a Canva account, then you can see the template, and it creates a copy just for you. So you're not going to be messing up anybody else's stuff here. But when you click on that, I will share my screen here so I can show you guys. So what it'll do is you can just go in and edit this template. So the cool thing is Stephanie's actually on our call, and I did this for her, because she was the first person to join in and just really trust me and, kind of become her coach, right? She came into personal creation, and she was the first one to come into that. And so I created this for her. And so basically what it is this is actually AI too, this image through Adobe Express. And so I put her name here, and you can edit this and change it to be exactly what you want it to be. Whoever's name, if it's yours, or, maybe you are going to do this for a gift for someone. So, and then you will want to put the birthday of the person here. And then basically we will go into some ChatGPT prompts to create this customized for you or that person. So this first page is like the universe paused for you, right? It just tells you a little bit about her, and then like what this guy said then that night. Because I do think that when we're born at a specific time, in a specific place, with specific parents for a reason. So that's to have these experiences that are in our life. So you might ask like, well, what does this have to do with all of the things you do, Trisha, right? Like why are you doing this? And so the idea here is that I really want, the people that I talk to, I really want you guys to figure things out about yourselves and really maximize on what those are. And so if you're not really familiar with human design, there are a few different kinds that are based on your birthday. And so we'll dive in a little bit to that. Obviously, astrology, you guys know what astrology is, but it's so much more than you really think it is, because it matters like what phase the moon was in when you were born. And then that certain phase later on in life is going to kind of tell you when you should start different things, and maybe you shouldn't start certain things at different times of the month. So you want to make sure that you're not taking all of this information and putting like a crazy amount of stock in it, like making all your life decisions based on it. But I would say it's a really good guide. And I truly believe that anything that you believe in is going to be what's actually going to come into fruition in your life. And I think everybody on this call, you wouldn't be here if you weren't aware and conscious. And so, and here's Hito, she's our astrology expert. So I never want anybody to think that that I'm a astrology expert or human design expert or life path expert, but we do have an expert in the room for astrology, so she might chime in at any point. But she does like one-on-one sessions as well. So if any of this stuff really, really intrigues you, I did a session with her and it was so good. I had 2 pages of notes just on astrology for myself, and then she actually did it for my son as well. So I was able to figure out things about him. So it's really, really cool to be able to figure out more things about your kids and more things about yourself and all of that. Because I really, really do think that we were born on that specific day, specific time, specific moon phase, specific parents, and all of that. So it's really fun to do some of this kind of stuff. Okay, so this is the template, and Hito, I don't know, can you see the template link? Probably not, because it was on here before you came in. Let me go ahead and paste that back in here again. There we go. So basically, this is a template that you can just, you can go into Canva and you can change it, and it just makes a copy for you, so anybody can go in and do this without messing someone else up. So the first thing that we're going to do is inside of that Canva template, there is a link for human design, and you can click on that. And we are going to go in and let's see here. Pull my down here. I have all these open already for you guys, and then okay, so here's the human design page. So like I said, I had done Stephanie's, and so I put in her name, I put in the year she was born, the month and the day, and then the hour and the minute, and just make sure that it is AM or PM. And then you can have your email report sent to you, or you can actually, it'll show you exactly what's going on down here as well. So you don't have to have it emailed to you, but I think you probably have to put your email in to be able to get it. And then this tells you about like what human design is all about, if anybody's not familiar with that. So the chart that I put in is basically, this is what it popped up. So what I did was I took a screenshot and of this image right here, and then I put this into ChatGPT. So I took a screenshot, and then inside of ChatGPT, I said to create a book based on 3 different things. So past, present, and future. And I want to show you guys one more thing. In the very back of this template that I gave you guys, there are the ChatGPT prompts that I used. So whether you're doing this along with us today, or if you are going to come back and do it at another time, this is recorded, so I will give you guys the video. But basically, these are the prompts. So the first one to put into ChatGPT is, I am creating a book in Canva, and I want it separated in past, present, and future. And then internally, in those sections, I would like for it to be separated into life path number, natal chart, and then the human design for whatever name you're doing this for. And then I put in here, her natal chart information is birthday, birthplace, and birth time. I put that into ChatGPT as well, because then ChatGPT is going to reference what you're doing, what you're putting in with what ChatGPT already knows about those 3 different things. And then, so then the next prompt was, here is her human design chart. We're not really expecting ChatGPT at this point to create anything for us. We're just giving it information. So the more information that you could feed in, the better. And I can tell that Wes he is working away at putting his information in, which is super cool. So okay, here is life path info. Okay, so basically, the human design chart, that's what I said. I had put in a screenshot of this, and ChatGPT actually knows enough about human design to pull from this chart and say, okay, this is what is going on. And like I said before, there are so many. I have an expert for human design as well, if you're really interested in this. So, like Stephanie is a projector, and we'll go into a little bit about what that means. And then her strategy is to wait for the invitation. Her inner authority is through her spleen. And she has a profile of 1 of 3, right angle cross. I don't know what all of this stuff means. A human design expert absolutely would. But that's where ChatGPT kind of dives in and helps us understand this a little bit through the gates and the channels. And then you can see down here, well, I guess on this page it didn't give the, so you can download it, or yeah, I think you can download it for free. I know none of this stuff that I did cost any money. So it's a download of a 200-page plus. This probably would cost money, but it sends you stuff in your email about your human design as well. So the screenshot went into ChatGPT, and again, right now we're just feeding it information. So the soul map, or I should say, the life path number is actually a calculation. So how we get this is we go to this astrology.com/life path number, which is in that template, and we figure out what your life path number is. So this tells you all about what it is and how to find it. And you basically add up the numbers of your birthday. So it will actually do it for you. So I'm going to show you guys that. Oops. Okay, so Stephanie's birthday, now that I have it memorized, is May 4th, 1991. All right, and so that's all you have to do to get your life path number is put in this information. And then it tells you all about the number 11. So hers is enlightenment. And then you just click read more. And this is the information that I actually copied and pasted and I put directly into ChatGPT. So I started with life path number 11, personality traits, and I copied all of this. It talks about the career, finances, life path number, tips and advice, and all of that. So the whole idea of the book is past, present, and future. So whenever I put this into ChatGPT, it records that information. So going back to the prompts, the last thing I did was I went to an astrology website to create a natal chart, which Hito knows all about this. So I put in Stephanie's name, and then I put in her birthday, the exact time she was born, and then the birthplace. So what you want to do here is you want to make sure that, so she was born in North Kansas City. You want to make sure that it is actually starting to pre-populate before you do anything, because it has to grab exactly what is already in their system for it to be accurate. And then the natal chart report is pretty long. So what I did again was I just took a screenshot of this, because you have a certain sign, right? But there's so many different things that play into that. Where was the moon? Where's the sun? All of the different things that play into it make a big difference on who you are, who you're going to become, and who you have been, right? And so I took a screenshot of this chart and this chart and put it into ChatGPT. So now ChatGPT has all of the information that we need to create this very summarized book of past, present, and future from these different perspectives. And the cool thing about ChatGPT is now that it knows all of this information, it kind of correlates them all together. So that way they mean a little bit more about you and you have a little bit better description about what's going on in your life and what is to come. So I'm going to go back over to this. So these 3 links are exactly where I went. So you guys can go to those if you have a minute. And whenever you create this book. So I don't know if you even saw the front of this, Hito, but what I did was I'm creating books like this for everybody in my family. And then you can just swap out your name here or whoever's name it is. And everything is already designed for you, but you are welcome to change the fonts if you don't like these or whatever it may be. Or maybe this is for a man and you don't want this scripty font at the bottom. Maybe you want something a little bit more masculine. More than welcome to change these out. And that's of course if you're familiar with Canva. So you'll go here and like I said, you will change the day, time, all of that kind of stuff. And then the prompts that are in ChatGPT will create these paragraphs for you. So you basically tell it, I am working on the universe paused for you section, create a paragraph that is based on that for this person. And then you'll say, I'm creating a pair or like a blurb or whatever you want to call it, what this guy said about that night. So I'm going to go back here just to kind of give you guys a little bit of reference where all these ChatGPT prompts are. So at this point, it has all the information we want, and then it says, can you give me an intro paragraph that brings in astrology, life path number, and human design that tells about whoever you're doing in general, so generally speaking. And then how about a section about the sky the night she was born, or he? And then can you give me a title and subtitle for each section of the book? So present, past, present, and future inside of life path, astrology, and human design. So what that did was that created these titles and subtitles because everybody's are going to be a little bit different. So hers are going to be about the life path number 11, right? It's going to talk a little bit more about that enlightenment like we talked about. So, just a little preview for Stephanie. Her very first one is being born under life path number 11 isn't an accident. It's a soul level assignment. From the very beginning, there was something different about you. You may not have been able to name it, but you could feel it, an electricity under the surface, a sensitivity that ran deep, knowing that you were somehow meant for more. So, I think that's super cool. And it's so nice to be able to see different things about yourself because I think this helps you figure yourself out. I know when I did my one-on-one session with Hito, I was able to figure out so many things about, why certain times of the month I feel different, right? And, it's based on the moon. And she was able to tell me so many different things about why I feel like, because I'm a Cancer, why I feel like that sometimes, but then other times, other parts of different signs kind of show up in my life. And that is all because of the positioning. And so she knows, like, she has a God-given talent for sure about being able to tell you, look at that chart that we just looked at and be able to tell you so many different things about it. So definitely love that. And so that is what this is about, right? So this is the past version of the life path number is what this first page is. And then on this page, it is, so her sun is in Taurus. This is about Stephanie again. So she's solid, grounded, sensual, values peace, beauty, and loyalty. She's wired for stability and purpose with a deep connection to nature and the physical world. Of course, she owns a farm, right? So her strength often lies in her ability to stay steady when others spiral. So she's steady and grounded when other people might be kind of living in that chaos, right? And you can swap these out by going over to elements. And what I honestly, it was so easy. I just typed in Taurus. Oops, spell it right. And you can just drag these over and switch them out for whichever sign that you're looking for. So for the second one, I did the same thing with Capricorn and just grabbed another one of the signs for Capricorn. And so emotionally mature, this is because her moon is in Capricorn. She's emotionally mature, reserved, responsible, likely felt the need to be the adult even as a child. So it'll be really interesting to talk to Stephanie after this and see if she can relate to a lot of this stuff. And then the rising sign, so her ascendant is in Scorpio, which I know Hito told me is really important, is your ascendant. And so she's magnetic, private, and intense. Others may see her as mysterious, powerful, or hard to read at first glance. She's got a deep presence, even in silence. So the reason that I say that this could be such a great gift is because people just know that it makes them feel so important that you did this, number one, but it makes them feel so so much more clear and have more clarity about why things have happened in their life and kind of what could possibly happen moving forward. And like I said, I think that no matter what you guys believe, it is whatever you believe about this is going to be true because we all believe in manifestation. I know everybody here does. And so if you believe this to be true, it will be true. And so it is a really good way to have a positive view on kind of what's going on. So, and if you guys have any questions, I'll take questions from you guys at the end as well. So then this one is going to be her past version of her astrology. So it created the title and it created a subtitle for this. And then I had it create obviously these paragraphs about it. So if it spits something out at you that is really short or really long, just say shorten this and or lengthen this, please, or give me more information, and then you will be able to copy and paste it into here and just make sure that it is going to fit in on your page. And again, if you guys want to change the fonts or even the sizing, I did make it to where it's an 11 by 8.5, so that way it is kind of a, paper would typically be more portrait style. This is actually a landscape style, so it's wider than it is tall, but you could literally just print these on a normal size piece of paper and give it to somebody, just a thoughtful gift, to be able to give them about themselves. And of course, Hito, you can use it for your clients if you want to too. But you can definitely go in here and copy and paste and just really work with ChatGPT because now it already has the information that you want it to create. You just work with it and just make it longer, shorter, and those kind of things to make it fit on the page. So then this one is going to be her human design past. So her energetic imprints and what the body always knew. So long before she had language for it, Stephanie's body was already speaking a truth the world couldn't always hear. She was born a projector. So a projector is a guide in a world that often values doing over seeing. But Stephanie wasn't meant to keep up with the energy of others. She was designed to direct it. So she's obviously a leader. From a young age, she likely sensed she was different, not in a way that made her less, but in a way that made her deeply tuned in. She didn't just observe people, she read them energetically, instinctively, and effortlessly. So that is all of the past information that it pulled up about her. So then the next section is the present tense of the life path. So, one thing that you actually could do as well, sometimes ChatGPT gets a little confused if you put too much information in, but you could download this as a PDF or as PNGs, and you can upload the entire thing into ChatGPT and say, recreate this for me with this birthday. And it would literally do it if you have the paid version. If you don't have the paid version, you definitely want to put these in section by section to be able to get the most accurate information, because that's what we're really worried about here is putting in accurate information. I don't want any person that is an expert in human design or an expert in astrology to come here and be like, "Oh, that's just not true. That's not what's accurate." So that's why we went to those specific websites and didn't just ask ChatGPT to give the information, because ChatGPT doesn't always have the most accurate information. And so the secondary piece to that is if you go into ChatGPT and you say, is this information accurate? It will go and check. And so you can say, search the web to make sure that this is accurate, and it will give you more accurate information if you're kind of questioning it. And this, guys, this like ChatGPT lesson could be about pretty much anything. So just make sure that you're using those tools, because now you can actually ask it, you can say, please do this, but search the web for accurate information. That is somewhat new to ChatGPT, because now it's becoming a little bit more like we don't have to search on Google anymore. We go to ChatGPT to find what we want. So it's almost replacing Google, and it's like Google and YouTube are the most search platforms. Well, ChatGPT is an up and coming next one that's going to be the next search engine. So um so this is the past version, and then this is the past of her astrology. So this is the moment where the map becomes the mirror, where the birth chart stops being a distant blueprint and starts reflecting the life you're actually living. Okay. So Stephanie's Taurus sun in the seventh house is shining more clearly now. She no longer feels the need to rush or force things. She knows that what's meant for her is drawn not by speed, but by frequency. Taurus is the builder, the nurturer, the grounded soul who finds beauty in what lasts. Her presence in the world is stabilizing. People feel safer just being around her. And in the seventh house, this solar light comes alive through connection. She is here to walk with others, not ahead of them. Relationships, when they are true, become the arena where her essence fully blooms. And as far as what I've read about Stephanie so far in this, it is so true. So, um, so that is her present astrology. And then her present view of the human design is this last piece. And I'll just read the first paragraph of each one of these. So, there is something powerful that happens when we stop trying to understand ourselves through other people's expectations and instead start honoring how we were truly designed to operate. That's what this season is for. Stephanie, not just knowing her human design, but living it. She is a projector and she's finally starting to remember what that actually means. She's not here to outwork anyone. She's not here to prove her worth through endless doing. She's here to see, to guide, and to master the art of energy direction. That has always been her gift, an ability to observe what others miss, to feel into systems, people, and possibilities with laser-like clarity. So this is her human design present version. So the last 3 pages, this is her future version of her life path number. So that number was 11. The future of a life path 11 isn't written in certainty, it's written in frequency. You don't follow a formula, you follow a calling. And as the path continues to unfold, Stephanie's legacy will not be measured by how much she did, it will be measured by how deeply she aligned. All right. And so then her present version of astrology is here. So the stars didn't just mark where you began, they whisper where you're headed. In Stephanie's chart, the future doesn't shout, it calls. It calls her into expansion, into enlightenment, into the full radiance of her truth. So her north node is in Cancer in the ninth house. So that's what I was saying is she's not like, you're not just one Capricorn, you're not just Taurus, you're not just one of the signs. All of them play a role into your life. So her north node in Cancer in the ninth house is one of the clearest messages in her chart. Her soul didn't come here just to build, succeed, or lead by logic. That was the old life. This time she came to soften, to feel, to nurture herself and others in a more intuitive, heart-centered way of being, and to do it not in small hidden ways, but on a big stage across cultures, platforms, or generations. I should say, and generations. So that is her future version for astrology. So right here, it's a future that says you are the message, you are the guide, you are the embodiment of what you once searched for. So the whole goal of this is to help you kind of step into who you truly are as well. That's the whole point of our masterclass today. So she is the embodied guide and she has power with purpose. So you're here to lead with integrity. So she is absolutely a leader. It's saying that over and over and over again here. And I don't know if you guys have done much research into human design, but I'm a manifesting generator and it's so obvious. And Wes is too, actually. So it's just really obvious whenever you start reading this stuff about yourself. You're like, oh, yeah, that totally makes sense. And we can make sense of so many other people. And I think that's what's so cool about like what Hito does in astrology is she can make sense out of people just by knowing what their birthday is. And actually, I witnessed her talking to this woman one time, actually just a couple weeks ago in LA, and she was talking to her. And then all of a sudden she was like, well, you're probably born in like 1981, 82, 83. And well, she said 82, and then she said 81, 83. And the woman was like, what? Like, how did you even know that? And so, because the woman looked like she was 25, so I couldn't believe that Hito even knew that and was willing to know that she knew so much that she wasn't going to offend the lady by saying she was 42 when the woman really did look like she was like 25 years old. So it was super cool because you could tell that she was just really sure about herself and her astrology capabilities. So sorry, it's brag on Hito day. Okay, so this is Stephanie's version of her I'm still trying to keep all these separate in my head. It is her human design. So Stephanie's human design was never about fitting in. It was always about standing in a frequency the world didn't yet understand. And in the future, that frequency becomes her superpower. She is a projector, and that is not a limitation. It's a role of precision, purpose, and pure energetic mastery. Projectors are not here to keep up. They're here to see the system, to recognize and what others miss, and to guide the energy of the collective towards something more sustainable, more soulful, and more true. So so yeah, I hope she's able to take some of this information, and I think she's actually driving as well as Nadine driving. But this is a super fun activity to do. And this template, like I said, it has all the prompts that you'll need for ChatGPT. And I will attach it to the video on YouTube as well. So that way everybody has this template, and you're welcome to share it with anybody that you want to. And I think the whole goal of, these master classes, which just so you know, we have them once a month, and it is always on Friday at noon. And gosh, I can't remember if it's the third Friday. What is today, the third Friday of, I don't know, but they're always the same time every month, and so they're always on something different. And so today I really wanted to bring something completely different to you guys, and just something really fun that you can do, like I said, as a gift or something for yourself to figure yourself out. And what's funny is I haven't even done this for myself yet, so I need to go back through and do it for myself. um and go ahead and create one just so I can figure out more about me in these different areas. So, does anyone at this point have any questions? And then I'm going to talk a little bit after we do questions. I'm going to talk a little bit about the program offerings that I currently have, just in case anyone is interested. So, yeah, open to questions if you have any. It was a lot of information. I know. Always is.
Definitely.
Trish, is it any surprise to you that I'm also the same as a manifesting generator as you?
No, it does not
You're
surprise me.
like, yeah,
Yes, we're doers for sure. Absolutely. Did you
I'm
already do
not.
human
Yeah.
design? Did you already know about it?
Well, I played around with it a little bit, but not to any real deep extent. And what I really did just today while we're going through this is ask for a summary as
Mhm.
opposed to like going in and being overwhelmed by all the information.
Yeah.
And it gave me a really kind of interesting summary, which was kind of fun. Um, and I kind of need some fun right now anyway, so this is great.
Yeah.
Coming off the busy time of my year. So, and it is really surprising. Like the only thing that and it mentions this when you ask this. I asked this question because I wasn't absolutely sure of the time that I was born. Uh, I knew the day, obviously, but I wasn't sure of the time. I thought I was close. So I just went with that. And then I asked it, how much does it really affect knowing the actual time? And it says, unlike astrology, which it makes no difference, with the human design, it does. It makes a huge difference. And even 15 minutes can make a difference.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the specific time and the specific way where the moon was, where the sun was, all the different things make such a big difference. And we don't even think about how grandiose our world is until you think about all the different people that were born at all these specific times. So how long was your summary?
I just asked for 5 bullets.
Oh,
And
what did they tell us? Because Hito is
it's no,
manifesting.
it's
Yep,
freaking scary.
tell us.
It's like um the second part was emotional authority, and it says wait for clarity. It says you're not meant to make big decisions in the moment. You gain clarity over time, writing your emotional wave. Patience leads to better outcomes. Absolutely true. Natural talent plus connection. You have a natural gift for calling that emerges when you're left alone to master it. But your progress depends upon relationships and community, balance solitude with strong networking. Number 4, signature is satisfaction. It says when you're aligned with your deep satisfaction, um, and when you're off course or forcing things, frustration shows up, which is absolutely true. I've become really impatient with myself and others when I'm trying to force things. Uh, Life theme, which was the last thing that it gave me, said that you're here to lead and inspire others through rebirth, change, and personal transformation, which fits perfectly. Now, get this, because it knows me, now after working with my book and everything, it says, which fits perfectly with your AOC model and high performance mission. So it sort of combined those elements, and which is kind of unique. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I don't know about Nadine or Stephanie, but I think all of us, all of the rest of us here definitely use ChatGPT and we all use Canva.
Hmm.
So I mean, if you're using, I mean, the tools out there are just absolutely amazing. And so ChatGPT, like Mike was saying, it gets to know you. And so I will have ChatGPT write something in how I speak. Oh, Stephanie's using it now too. Great. And I think the thing that we really have to realize is that we don't want to look at AI as, or you can look at it however you want to, but I don't want to look at AI as basically like becoming human beings, right? I look at it more as whatever it spits out wouldn't be there if it wasn't for me anyways. And so it's still spitting out something that is genuine to you. It's not going to give Mike, Wes, or Hito, Stephanie, Nadine, it's not going to give you guys any of the same information that it's giving me because it knows who I am. We had a really funny night one night because we were trying to do like ghost stories and we were camping out in the backyard. And so we were doing the ghost stories and it literally wouldn't even give me ghost stories because it knows that spiritual I am.
They had
They
happy
were like,
endings.
here's a teddy bear, and you know what I mean? It was like it wouldn't even give them to me because of knowing the spirituality level that I spit at it all the time. So it's one of those things where, we actually heard on a video the other day too that look at it as kind of like your higher self, right? You're being given this information, and if you look at it in a little bit different way rather than it replacing the human brain, then you kind of give it a little bit more personality and it's taking on your personality and just giving you more ideas and stuff for different things.
Well, I
I
think
look at it like it's my twin brother that I never had that has deeper insights than I have for myself and also services as my personal assistant.
There
yeah,
Like
you
all of
go.
those things combined, it's like my assistant, but he knows me better than I know myself. And if I give him the right input, I'm going to get a better response.
it has much better
Yeah.
recollection than we do too, right?
Yeah, for sure. It remembers things a lot better than I do.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing, right? Is like just making sure that it is accurate, right?
Yeah.
You want it to be accurate and you don't want to feed it too much information. We were trying to create like a patent information the other day for portrayals and it was like oh my gosh, it just kept getting really confused. So just make sure like when you're doing it, just make sure that you're actually rereading what it says as well.
Yeah. Even some of the simple stuff like an email address. We are trying to create a social media post this morning and creating an image. And I mean, the email address was consistently off. I never could get it right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, stuff as basic as that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not really great with images yet, I feel like. I mean, there's some things that are really good with images, but if you have any
Yeah.
words on it at all, it doesn't really do that great. So does anybody have any questions before I talk real quick about the couple of different programs that I have? Questions?
I had a thought. It's not probably not a question, but regarding to what Mike was talking about, nice to meet you and everyone who I haven't met yet. um, anyways, about the time you were born in astrology and other modalities. So I think Mike was saying the human design, it matters more in human design.
The response. I'm not sure that I'm on the same page either, but it says the question I said, how much does birth time matter in human design? And it said a lot. Unlike astrology, where a few hours might shift your rising sign, in human design, even 10 to 15 minutes can sometimes change key aspects of your chart, especially if you were born near a time when planetary gates were shifting.
Right. So you're saying that that means human design, in human design, the time matters more than astrology. Yeah.
Yep, I
Yeah.
was wrong.
Yeah. So so I didn't know that, and it's probably true, right? But in astrology, Western astrology, the time doesn't matter much. I mean, it does, but for example, 2 hours difference is not much, so that's okay. But if it's like more than 2 hours also, it completely shifts. So it does give you different information, although you can get so much information just by the dates without the time too. So you still can get a lot of information. But if someone, this is just something kind of off topic, but if someone wants to know the actual time they were born, if they don't have the information, the best way is to go to Vedic astrologer, Indian astrologer, because it's different from Western astrology. And what they do is they would ask you, okay, what is the date you got married? What is the date that you had like a tragedy? They would ask you the whole timeline of someone's life. Then from there, they actually calculate the time they were born, which sounds crazy, but it's supposed to be really accurate. And I have few clients who actually did that because they didn't know the time and they wanted to know. So I sent them to Indian astrologers, and they came back with their like correct time. So just in case anyone wonders, because a lot of people actually don't know the time they were born. So
Or I could pick up the phone and call my mom.
yes, I mean people done that in front of me so many times. Mom, what are you doing? I'm just like checking out my astrology.
Any reason to go home is a good reason, right?
Yeah, I think I might try that when we finish up the call. So
Yeah, you can do that. But some people, they really don't have a way to find out. Mom don't remember it was chaotic
yeah,
for her. That happens.
after having 3 children, she may have forgot about the actual
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Yeah.
So Hiro, you said within 2 hours, right? Is pretty much what you want.
Yeah, about 2 hours. Sometimes it does shift like even in like half an hour, when there's something is on the cups. So it is good to know the time. But like I said, um, even if you don't have the time, you can know a lot of things. So yeah, it's okay.
All right. So I know, okay, so Hito is actually in my Ascend program. Mike was one of my very, very first ones. And then Stephanie is in my personal creation program. So they can all kind of speak to what happens in each one, but the personal creation program was built this year actually, but it was built on 14 years of knowledge of all of the different books that I've read and just all of the life experiences and the things that I've done to really create your true self, to really dive in and figure out, like, do some of the inner child healing, do the healing work, and do some of the self work. And so we are actually just finished up the module on divine essence. And I think the idea behind the divine essence was, figuring out, like, whether you believe in God, source, whatever it is, there is a higher power. And the idea was that we want to be connected to that as much as possible. You'll be able to pay more attention to your intuition, and you will be able to get the answers that you need. And I think that's the whole goal of today, right? Is the idea of figuring out kind of a little bit more about yourself to be more closer to that source. I believe that we were created and by a creator, and he's working through us to have different experiences. And so that's the game of life, right? We're all here just having these amazing experiences. And so the next chapter, or the next module that we're working on is called conscious observation, because we all want to be really conscious and aware of what's going on in our lives and realizing that we're the creator. If there's something that's going on in your life right now that you don't necessarily like, you need to look internally and figure out what's going on. Are you on a cycle that you need to get off of? Do you need to make a different decision? What needs to change? Because, right, we've all heard the quote, if you want to change your life, you have to change things in your life. So make a different decision, do something different, get on a new path. And whenever you can be consciously aware of of that and observe that, you can be in a different place in an instant, right? Make that decision, and an instant later you are, your beliefs are different. So and then it just goes all the way through. And then the very last module is all about becoming the light and really spreading the message. Because that's another thing I believe, is that we are here to remember who we are and live out our purpose, but we're also here to help others do the same. And so what's really cool about all of the things that are going on in my life, if you guys follow me on social media, right? Like we've got, like, I'm writing books and getting ready to have a second book published, and a lot of us here are on that same track too. So it's like, the Ascend program is for coaches. The one I just talked about was personal creation. And then we're working on portrayals and bringing inner child healing to life. And that is all just working out amazingly right now. We're, getting funding. We're, pitching. We're going to be on a TV show in a couple, probably about a month. And so it's a Shark Tank type TV show. And so all of this stuff works together it's all helped me in the past really figure out myself, but it's helping me help others figure out who they are. So it's all very purposeful. In my web design and branding agency, I haven't done this yet, so wish me luck. But the whole idea is to really niche down and only work with coaches and only work inside of the Ascend program, and not even build websites for different types of companies like HVAC or even estheticians, Stephanie. So it's like, even just doing just websites that are very purposeful is going to keep me on the right path, right? So the next time I get approached for one of these websites, I have to make that decision. Okay, am I going to live on my path, or am I going to go back to what I used to do? Right? So that's the decision that I have to make the next time that somebody calls me and says, that they want just a random website. I have to be able to say no and really live out that life path that I want to live out, because people like you guys are the ones that are easier to work with. And we are all consciously aware of what's going on in our lives. And it makes it so much easier to be able to work with those like-minded people. So staying on that path is going to be a little difficult, right? When you're like, well, I need a paycheck, so I need to build this website for someone. So that is Ascend, or that is personal creation. And then the Ascend program is specifically for coaches, people that really want to start something in their lives to spread a beautiful message. And Mike's, we finished his, I think he just needs to record some of his videos and then be able to really get that out into the world. He's writing a book right now on a high performance model. And the idea of the course is it kind of aligns with the book. I shouldn't say kind of, it really aligns with the book that he's writing as well. And so the idea is that with Ascend, we create landing pages and modules, lead generation tools, and get all of those technology pieces put together in one software system, so it can all just run while you're sleeping. So people can purchase while you're sleeping, so that way you're making money. And getting all of those pieces that are hard to imagine all working together into one system. And the really cool thing with that is we've already onboarded 8 people into Ascend just within the last couple of months. And it's been an amazing journey, and it helps coaches really figure out what message they're wanting to spread. And yes, we use ChatGPT, so it makes it a little bit easier too. And I'm actually working on one of the coolest things I've ever worked on right now. It's a branding course. And so it is going to already have pre-built in it ChatGPT prompts to create your brand by just answering a few questions. And so it will create everything. So it's going to be people's dream that don't know what they want their logo to look like, what brand colors they want, what they want their mission, their vision, their values, and all of that stuff to say. And anybody that's in any of my programs will actually get that for free. So any of the courses I create are free for Ascend people and free for personal creation people. And it will obviously cost if you send them to other people or, whatever. And I have affiliate programs that you guys can make money on, selling these to your friends. So it's super cool too. And then of course, if you guys know of anybody for portrayals, the inner child healing virtual reality, I think almost all of you guys know about it. But like I said, we're looking for investors. We are looking for therapists. And I will actually, after this call, probably send all of you guys the link to fill out the form that is just asking, would you use this? Would you use something like this with your clients or personally? And I just want you guys to be completely honest, whether you would use it or you wouldn't. It does not matter to me either way, but it's going to help us show some traction in how many people people are interested in using what we're doing. And the link that I send you guys will actually give you a little bit more information about it as well. So basically what we're doing is I woke up like 3 years ago, middle of the night, and you're supposed to build an inner child healing experience. And I'm like, what? In virtual reality? What am I supposed to do? And so it was just one of those thoughts that come at 3 a.m. Those are things that are given to you. Those, it's meant for you. That idea was 100% your God-given idea that you should take to fruition. And that's how I feel about it. That's like why, right? Is to create this new beautiful life for my children, create that generational change, for my children and our parents, right? Generational change going both ways. And when you can meet your inner child and really talk to them and nurture them, it makes a world of difference in your life. I am in the most peaceful place I've ever been. Even if chaos is going on all around me, I am still grounded. I'm still here. I'm still peaceful. And it is just an amazing experience. And so that's why my next book is called Heaven on Earth, because I believe we can create a heaven on earth or we can create our own hell on earth. So it's your choice what you want to do. And so that book will dive into a lot of the spiritual aspects around that. And so just a lot going on. And thank you guys for being here for yourselves and, just in support of me as well. If you want to dive into astrology, I would absolutely call Hito and get set up for an hour, or I think your appointments are 30 minutes. Get set up for a 30-minute astrology session or gift one to somebody. I think these are just really great tools to use to be able to, spread a message of really that truth and aligning with yourself. So thank you guys for being here and for showing up. I think you had something you wanted to say. No? Okay. It's funny because Wes is actually sitting right next to me right here. We're at a library right now getting to see his new his son's first baby. So yes, grandbaby.
Yeah.
So we drove to Oklahoma to come see her, and she's beautiful and she sleeps a lot.
Yeah. 8 days old.
So